Let's try that. Hopefully that'll be better. Okay, let's get video queued up.
That has like, it only has like 12 likes, but let's at least listen to the beginning of it.
What do you expect her to do? Give you the money the next day like she just has it all? No. You have
Yes.
to wait. And if you can't wait, you just suck it up and you take the gesture. Because you offered it. No one put the gun.
So that stitch seems to insinuate that Bria just offered to pay as like I'll pay for all of your food rather than like I'll cover it, but you guys are gonna pay me back. But it's pretty obvious that when someone covers it, and the other girl does know this because she was like, I'll pay you back tonight or whatever, and then didn't pay her for 3 weeks. So there's no question here. Everyone knew that she just paid for the time being and everyone was gonna pay for the food. Usually, at least in my case, people will pay back the next day at the latest.
Stitches on the credit card situation are getting so wild. I had to just step in because I think some people don't get what happened. When you go out with multiple friends and you want to be like courteous to the waitress or waiter, instead of having the waitress or waiter split the bill like 8 to 10 different ways if you had a big group dinner, sometimes someone will just step up and put their card down so that it's one bill. In no way is this saying I am a credit card to my friends.
And this kind of clears up one of my earlier questions, which was, what in a restaurant that is that like fancy, that costs that much money, wouldn't they just split the bill normally? Isn't that a normal thing that would happen because people are probably racking up like massive receipts for their orders? But it seems like they did it ahead of time and were just like, hey, just take the card, don't worry about it, we'll all deal with it. Which is good and nice and good, as long as those 8 to 10 people, like Bria said, actually pay you back. And it seems like they all did, except for one person who owed $240.
Is that just like not a normal thing to do? Like, I've done this so many times with my friends. I don't know why people are yelling at me. Like, to be clear, I never said my treat, bitches. No, like, it was even discussed at the table. Like, you guys can just spend money. So, like, I don't know why you guys are yelling.
I mean, again, popular TikTok, you're gonna get a lot of different people. Big spectrum of TikTok users who have very interesting opinions. Now, the credit card drama continues, but this is where I want to sort of take a little derail, look at this other drama, and hop back over. It'll be very quick. So I see this TikTok the day after the one she posts about the stitch. We just watched it. And it says, channeling Tube Girl's confidence to get my $240 back. There's a song playing to it, but it's basically just like this kind of video of her doing a sort of thirst trap-esque thing in the car, right? I saw this and I was like, who is Tube Girl? And so there's this girl who the internet has named Tube Girl, whose name is Sabrina, and it says, being Delulu and acting like I'm in a music video every time I'm on the tube.
Oh.
Like the rest of us. I'm actually very invested. I'm actually scary infected. Was it a meme that you texted?
And this is the video. It's just someone in the subway, in the tube, doing some sort of like thirst trap-esque dance. Is thirst trap like a negative thing to say? I can't really think of another term. I'm not trying to say it in a negative way. And it brings up and stirs up this conversation of, have we become so, you know, I don't know the word, delulu. Have we become so delulu in public with TikTok? Did COVID lock us up for so long that people don't even care about filming themselves in public locations anymore? Is it not cringe to you? That's kind of like
Is it not cringe to you?
But recently with this Tube Girl, she has inspired, and I think this is a fun thing. I think, honestly, it is kind of, I don't know, I don't see a problem with this. Some people turn around and be like, oh, it's cringe. There's other people on the subway just trying to like mind their own business. She is kind of minding her own business though. She's just on the other side of the tube. And she has inspired a lot of people to try doing the same
First
thing.
try.
Look, this girl says she's channeling Tube Girl because that's the kind of Delulu confidence we need. And basically it started a trend where people are doing these TikToks on a train full of people on the public transportation. And yes, some people have the same confidence as the tube girl. They're not afraid to do it, but other people are sort of just trying and look, they still feel awkward about it, but they are still that there's nobody on that train. But this is good, right? Like people are building up their confidence in front of people to not really care about how other people are going to perceive them. And she's really made a whole name out of herself with this tube girl situation. This girl doesn't care if everyone sees her on the train, and she shouldn't. But there was like kind of a joke where people were like, oh, I wonder what it looks like from the other point of view with this girl doing her little dance by herself. And this is what it looks like. Which honestly, not as bad as you'd expect, right? It's really not as bad as like have you seen that video of Addison Rae like trying to do the TikTok dance, and then like a fan comes up to her to ask for a photo, and she's like 1 minute, and then let me find it. Oh my god, it was at Earth Cafe. Come on.
Oh yeah, of course. Here, let me do this TikTok really quick. Yeah, I'll get out of it.
That is awesome. Some people may say that tube girl cleared. She dunked on Addison Rae years into the future with this one.
Shit.
But honestly, Addison Rae has kind of become a renaissance man of this kind of stuff. Who else was doing it like her? Who else was telling fans that they just need to wait a second to take a photo so she can do her little dance? Love her new EP, by the way. I think it's great. A lot of the new music coming out, great. Olivia Rodrigo album, great. Tizo Touchdown album, great. Maybe I'll talk about it more on He Said Us and talk about my favorite songs or something like that, but I think that's awesome. Love the music, keep it coming, I guess. Who are these guys? I get a live stream.
Fuck!
Yeah, you're structuring information differently. Yeah.
Yeah, you showed me some of that, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch several hundred. I wrote a children's book.
Oh, nice.
Called Stitchy.
Anyways, this brings us back around to the Bria Jones stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments about Tube Girl. Do you hate her? Do you want to wipe her off the face of the earth? Or do you think she's doing a good job?
At this point, I'm just going to share my favorite stitch of the day.
Yeah, this is kind of ridiculous. You took away her opportunity to pay using credit, but
Now hold on. Before we do this, I think this guy does have his stitch public still. Okay, maybe not.
yeah, this is kind of ridiculous. You took away her opportunity to pay using credit by using your credit card, so you became her credit. You also took away her points that she would have earned for paying because you wanted the points. You also took away her ability to defer the payment or make multiple payments, possibly get back actual cash. You took away her opportunity
Oh,
to
shit.
pay the way that she was able to pay. So for you to expect her to be able to instantaneously pay after you
I gotta go when Go gets squished.
That is a wild.
And Go
take.
squishes for the first
This
time.
is how
Ah, shit, I
people
went too
talk
early.
About finances in like high school finance classes where they're
Go
like,
squish, go.
you have the ability to have this credit and be able to own this and take away this and
Ah,
defer
fuck.
that. It's not really that complicated. Someone pays for
Go,
you
squish,
for
go.
your meal, so you don't have to split the check. They pay you back right away. Even bringing points into this especially is what makes me laugh, because points are really like pennies on the dollar. Sometimes a penny on the dollar. Sometimes not even a lot of times not even a penny on the dollar. You taking away her ability for $240 worth of points is like saying that not giving her like $1 or $2 out of that is going to somehow affect her in the future. Same thing with the credit. $240 of credit is only going to get you so far. Your credit score is not really getting bumped up with $240. I mean, this is a wild take to have. I'm sure a lot of people are saying the same things. It seems like he
Shit.
kind of has a personal issue with that. He's got something he's got to
First try.
He owes some money to some people. No one took
Two,
away
go.
anybody's right or anything to anything. Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you guys what day it is.
Fuck.
Also, while I tell you guys what day it is, thank you so much for all of the love on the He Said Us videos. I cannot believe how well that channel's doing. I was posting like vlogs to that channel earlier this year, and they were getting like a tenth of the views.
Second
that
try.
They are
Still
now getting in,
good.
like one day. This channel, even my main channel, has never performed as well as He Said Us is performing now. This channel, a few months ago, was not performing as well as He Said Us. You guys have blessed me. I owe you nothing. I pulled myself up and I bit
Nothing.
straps to be able
Like
to
when
do
Nick
this
gets
job,
mad.
so you better appreciate it. Whatever. That wasn't funny.
What the hell?
It's Drama Wednesday. Look, there's a frog and there's Santa on it. Are you happy? Are you guys happy now? Okay, how is she gonna respond to this one?
The difference between
Oh,
this
he's still
person
going.
who hasn't paid me back yet and me is that I would never pay you back. The second that you decided to pay, you decided to pay. When I want someone else's points, I tell them that. I ask if they're paying cash and get permission. It's cooperative, not deceptive. That's the difference.
I think he is under this impression that she specifically did this for the points because she said, oh, I don't mind being the credit card friend. I like getting the points and it makes everything easier. That doesn't mean that the points are really like
Ah, fuck.
Dude, like no, I laugh when people like take credit card points that seriously. What do you need the points for, dude? What do you need? What kind of points are you getting? You gonna buy yourself like an Xbox or something? Are you gonna buy yourself like a cool chair?
Don't worry, I'm not gonna re-explain myself, but this one triggered me because this person just said I'm deceptive because I said I wanted the credit card points. I come from a family that didn't have financial literacy.
And also, sorry to cut off the story, the lore of the story. Deceptive as if she still didn't say, I'm gonna cover it, and then everyone else can pay me back. That's not really deceptive. The friend can reject that if she wants to. It's the girl who owes the money's duty to either step up and say, hey guys, I'd rather just have us cover our own things because I have some kind of issue with where I can't pay people back, or she needs to pay her back. Those are your two options. You either got to step up or you got to just pay the girl back. Either way, you got the money to do it. You went out to eat. And the rest of these are kind of just like little memes about it. I really wish that the girl who owed the money came out and was like exposed or something. I don't want her to like get attacked or anything. I like getting to see both sides and like make fun of someone. It's just fun being a part of the drama, like in depth, where you start hearing about what's going on the inside. But at least for right now, you know, I'll follow it up on He Said Us if we hear anything about how this unfolds. But this girl has got to know at this point. The TikTok, the original TikTok about it, has 2.3 million views. And the other ones are getting a lot of attention too. So hopefully we get to hear more. So I'll leave it at that. Remember, tomorrow night, it would mean a lot to me if you watch my music video.
Going too fast, too greedy.
Cool people, friends of mine, worked on the video and the music with me. There's a cool feature on it from a musician who I really like. And I think it's fun. People who watch this channel showed up to the video shoot for it and volunteered to be extras in it and danced around in the background. So you can see some Green is Not Nick fans, and you can, I'm not in it. I'm actually not in the video at all, and I'm barely even in the song. But that's it. Remember, this weekend I'm leaving for tour, and then tour starts like a week from Friday, I think. You can get tickets on devlemons.net.
Right.
There'll probably be less
Little known
videos posted
trick.
to this channel over the next month or
Little
so.
known trick.
But I'm going to keep up as much as I can. I'm going to be posting more He Said Us videos, I think. And I'm just going to try to stay up to date with the
Boom,
drama.
baby.
Thank you for watching this
Boom,
video.
baby.
If you liked
Boom,
it,
baby.
the past two videos I
Hitting
posted
this
are
shit
like
like
the most
baby.
popular ones of the past couple
Boom,
months.
boom,
And
boom,
one got
baby.
demonetized, age restricted.
Hitting
You
that
should check
shit
out the
like
past
baby.
videos if you haven't. Thank you for watching this one. I have playlists up on the screen of other dramas that I've covered on my other channel and on this channel, and the links are down below for anything else. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining in on Drama Wednesday. Stay safe, and I will see you soon. I don't know if I'll see you this Friday. I'm gonna try.
This one is so
I'm gonna stop
annoying.
yapping.
I had to look this one up. I will change the video in 1 second.
Kevin McCarthy is finally impeaching Joe Brandon. We've been waiting for this moment since Donald Trump got impeached, that Republicans threatened the Democratic Party. They were like, oh, if you can impeach our guy, well, guess what? This is going to be hot potato impeachment time. We'll impeach your guy just as...
Hey, hi, and hello, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and fuck you. No, hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and let's talk about one of the biggest bands of all time, the Fab Four: George Jetson, The Ring, John Paul Jones, and Pop
Professor
McCartney.
Ringus.
Those are the Beatles. Over the
Ronald
years that I've been on the internet
Ringus.
doing musical commentary, I've noticed
Ronald
that,
Reagans.
there's like an increase in the ease and safety people feel logging on to the internet just to pop in and be like, you know what? The Beatles suck. Drop in with a little Beatles hot take like, you know, these Beatles kind of lame, overrated if you ask me. It's annoying, and it's just like an ugly blemish to see when I'm in any kind of like music-based community or forum or discussion area on the internet. And it's got little to do with like any favorability I have toward the Beatles or their music. I mean, sure, they've made some amazing records, some groundbreaking records, some of my favorite albums of all time. I think Abbey Road is one of the best produced albums of all time. I like my Beatles just fine. I'm not a super fan, though. I'm not like collecting every solo album and excusing every horrible thing John Lennon ever did. You don't need to love the Beatles or shovel their music to be a music fan or have a valid opinion on music. There are plenty of people in my life who are, for the most part, Beatles neutral, and that's completely okay. What
I'm a
talking
Beatle
about here is people
nooch.
who go out of their way to just shit on the Beatles for seemingly no reason whatsoever, and the reason it bugs me and it annoys me is because I don't think it has much to anything to do with the music. And to the extent that it does, maybe it's because, I don't know, their stuff is just like aged over the years and just doesn't aesthetically sound that contemporary or, you know, punchy in comparison with a lot of modern music aesthetics, which is fine. I like that a lot of older music sounds old. Over time, it becomes like a really cool capsule or like a fingerprint that shows us how stuff used to sound at one point, which is why sometimes it sucks when remasters take away that old charm of the way a record used to come across back when it was originally released, but that's another discussion. Still, though, even if the Beatles' music is and sounds old at this point, there's lots of old music out there that doesn't seem to catch as many bullets as the Beatles stuff does, or is even massively popular with younger people today. Be that Steely Dan, be that Fleetwood Mac, be that David Bowie. So it's not simply that their music is old. I don't think it's the quality of the music either. Yeah, we could talk about the quality of John Lennon and Paul's songwriting on some tracks, and obviously Ringo didn't build himself up to be the greatest drummer in rock music history. And for sure, across their discography, they did steal a fair amount of song ideas from other artists and genres and cultures. They're certainly not unique in that being a
Oh,
band from
shit.
the 60s and 70s.
Wonder if that's
The
possible.
Beatles and their music,
Let's
and
try it.
their mostly boomer fandom does come from a bygone era, does usually come with, like, you know, some old-headedness. I get it as far as perspectives and, you know, maybe also, like, aesthetics and content of the music.
Fuck.
It doesn't represent the era that you're from.
It's like
and
this
that you
weird
identify
trick
with, and that's okay. And look, I
where you
get it, new
hold
music in many ways
forward
is
only
more
for
exciting
fucking
than old music if it wasn't. I
split.
wouldn't
You
spend all
see
this
how
time
I
reviewing
just
and
skim
talking
across?
about it. But as long as it's new to you, old music
It's so
is
weird.
new music too, and you can learn a lot from it. You can also learn a lot about new music from old music in terms of like how we got to where we are today, or where certain
I have a
sounds or,
replay where I
vibes
skim
and
across
aesthetics
all of them
may
like
have
that.
originated from.
Just
And
floating.
personally, I feel blessed to live in an era where so much great older stuff is within easy access, which is part of what confuses me about the Beatles' hatred in general, because
Fuck.
I feel like culturally and aesthetically the internet, with it making it so easy to listen to and try just about anything, even stuff that would normally be out of your
What am I
wheelhouse and out
doing?
of your comfort zone. It's created a lot of music fans who are listening to artists or listening to albums from countries or certain genres that they maybe wouldn't have tried before, because without the internet they wouldn't have had like an exposure point to it. Without the internet, they wouldn't have been able to consume it so easily and like get into it. But for whatever reason, sometimes I still see like a bit of a generational divide going in both directions in terms of older people hating newer music, younger people hating older music, when streaming services have already made it so easy to listen to a bunch of stuff that, again, you wouldn't have been listening to otherwise. Why is it music from a different generation that causes you to sort of like, you know, sit up and raise an eyebrow and just like shrug your shoulders? Nobody says you have to like them or love them or listen to them. You're just trying to be and look different. And the irony of this is that there's so many people out there throwing out dumb, half-baked, cold, I hate the Beatles takes that you're not being original or interesting at all. And look, I also know you're trying to blow off some steam, say some silly trolley stuff on the internet, and because Beatlemania isn't what it once was, you could shit on them a little bit, and you're not going to have like, you know, 10 dozen people jump down your throat unless, you know, maybe you're on like a page somewhere on Facebook Marketplace. You need to grow up and
On
form some
Facebook
music
Marketplace.
opinions. They're actually going to
Get
you
yelled
some
at.
shit. Form a music opinion that people will hate on you for 10 plus years. Get one of those. Different shirt. I want to be lenient a little bit on people who don't enjoy the Beatles music and say, look, I get it if you don't like their stuff. There may be a lot of people out there who genuinely get nothing out of their music, whether it be due to some kind of like, you know, cultural or generational connection or something else. For a lot of individuals, relatability is like one of the most prime factors when it comes to listening to and enjoying music. Is the music telling a story that relates to me in some way? Do I relate to the artist in some way? Do I see myself in the art that I'm listening to or my experiences? Which, seeing a reflection of yourself in the media that you consume and generally representation in media, not bad things. And given that, I can see why there may be a lot of younger people out there who, you know, don't necessarily like, you know, get a whole lot out of listening to some old pop music from a band hailing from Liverpool. Best accent ever of all time. I'm amazing at impressions. Last thing I want to say is this current era that we live in where there is like a lot of unchecked Beatles hate. I wonder if this desire to shit on the band because of what era they're from and what maybe they represent in
Oh
some
shit,
people's
didn't
heads.
mean to do that.
Will that kind of pass by, go away, and people will begin to consume the band's music much in the same way they do like classical music? Not to say artistically what the Beatles do is on like, you know, the same level of the great composers out there. No, I'm suggesting people essentially listening to their music while having quite literally no connection whatsoever to the era that they came from. Not just in terms of like not being born back then, but also like not knowing people who lived back then. Maybe not knowing a whole lot about the history and politics and culture of that era as well. In that sense, future listeners would really be consuming the band's music entirely in a
Damn
vacuum.
it.
In that context is when audiences may be able to not completely objectively, but at least maybe in a more objective fashion, like consume what the band had to offer and really judge it based on its merit and not like, you know, the long lasting effects of Beatlemania or whatever.
Damn it.
Or feeling like the music is being shoved down your throat by a generation that you don't care for or feel like you're at odds with. And lastly, I'm curious as to whether or not there will be like another Beatles or another Michael Jackson or another whoever. I'm thinking of stars from past musical decades that were just famous and beloved the world over, which sure, we also have some big stars today, but like the difference mainly with the music industry today versus, you know, years ago is that there's so much saturation now and everything is
There we
moving
go.
at such a quick
There we are.
speed. And not only that,
True.
but like nearly everything that is in the mainstream is based on some kind of like really quick, fast, immediate wave or trend. And again, with that saturation, with that speed of trends, with that everything, will, I don't know, anything that is popular today like really withstand the test of time and have the same kind of like longevity down the road that like, you know, the Beatles are still currently enjoying with 30 million monthly Spotify listeners despite their last full-length album having come out decades ago. And if some of these artists do manage to make it as long as the Beatles, I don't know, one day will there be a generation of Drake haters who are essentially like, you know, shitting on him because he represents a bygone era that they just don't see eye to eye with or don't identify with in any way. And of course, a lot of these people will go back and see my videos and say, you know what, that Anthony Fantano guy, he was right. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments. Over here next to my head is another video that you could check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, the Beatles, forever.
The Beatles. The Beatles.
$5,000 a year, where now you get overtime pay. That's a huge, huge change. Student loan debt reduction, and even Biden even coming back after the Supreme Court tried to slap it down, and he said, no, I'm going to try to do it through the Higher Education Act now. There's little things we could go after him. Oh, the interest rate. Yes, that's bad. I agree with you on that. But we got to recognize that that is, all things considered, a step in the right direction. Pulling out of Afghanistan, he actually had the balls to do it, even when the media was shitting on him relentlessly. And I didn't see anybody on the left coming into his defense at that point in time.
A lot of people have.
I was like the only fucking one. It was like me and Matt.
Yeah, I disagree strongly.
Okay, well, then it's like 3 people. I didn't, and all these. Oh, I'm so anti-war, anti-war. He pulls out of Afghanistan, and it gets messy because that's what happens when you pull out of wars. And all of a sudden, oh my God.